Hello, it's What the Shelley. You can also find me on my YouTube channel called What the Shelley. I need to just circle back to my PSA from last week, which has been viewed all over the world by various means of social media. And I have heard from Muslims, Jews, and Christians from all over that they were so happy to hear a voice of reason. So I'm going all in again because I'm really pissed off at people from my progressive party and people, of course, from the Trumplican jihadists. Both really are locking arms now, and I'm pissed off. They don't think they are, but they are. When some of my progressive brothers and sisters sound just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but in a different way, we have a problem. Ask me, though, if I am surprised, really, by this. No. I know my daughter had continued getting calls for her death by some people who used to be her friends, but she asked me if I was surprised. I have had people from even my generation that said, aren't you surprised by this? No. Where have all of you been? Where have all of you been? I've been hearing this stuff since 1967 when I was a little girl. And now you add the element of people are surprised about the leadership of the Black Lives Matter movement. Listen, let's be real here. I totally support Black Lives Matter, the whole concept. Oh, absolutely. And I will never waver. But I will not support that group because that group, well, let's go back again. The leadership. We're talking about the leadership. They are like this with a lot of the militant Arab groups in the Middle East. Talking about Hamas and I'm sure Hezbollah. I don't know if they're getting money funneled to them, but we have to go back. We have to go back to the 60s and early 70s. This is the same thing with the Black Panther movement. I thought they did great work. Healthcare in the community, feeding the community, fantastic reading programs, self-determination. Yes, yes. But there was also another side, again, with the leadership that prompted some rabbis to write letters to Bobby Seale explaining why his anti-Israel stance was really not really coming from a place of reality or education, the stuff that he was spewing. It was right along the lines of, back then, the Algerian militants in the Middle East realized that they could, divide and conquer. So who's the easiest target in the world to go after? The Jews, of course. So if you divide and conquer in the United States, pit blacks and Jews against each other, well, there you have it. And they were getting money. Now, follow me on this. Leadership. When I talk to some of my super progressive friends, they go, oh, well, Israel, blah, blah, blah. I said, the leadership. People know how I feel about Netanyahu. He's a piece of shit. The ultra far right Orthodox Jews there, they can all go to hell also. That does not represent Israel as a whole, okay? It's similar to what's going on in this country with the Trumplican jihadists and the rest of America. So if you're going to follow that, then you know what? Then America needs to be obliterated. Let's go even farther in. China. China, all of the Asians being attacked here, and again, the stupidity of people, they don't know the difference between a Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese, Japanese. Give me a break. Get an education, please. But anyway, I digress. China, the country China, the leadership, they suck. They massacre people. They take away rights from people, okay? And I do feel that they hid the pandemic, what was going on. I do believe that. But again, it's not Chinese people. It's the leadership, okay? That doesn't mean in the United States you go around, trying to kill Chinese people, all right? That is just an easy excuse. Now I'm going to go even deeper. Okay, Black Lives Matter, and before that, the Black Panthers. Oh, they're so upset with Israel. They're so upset with this little tiny country the size of fucking New Jersey, right? Oh, they're so upset. Why don't you go clean up your own house in Africa? I always hear, like, the countries there. You know how many Africans, like I'm talking about Africans, worked for me over the years that told me such horror stories, how they had to get the hell out of there because they would get massacred. And these are their own people. Leadership. Back in the 60s and 70s, I remember I confronted a Black Panther. I was 14 years old. I confronted him. I said, why are you going on about Israel when Sudan, which is mostly a Muslim country, why are you not going after them for the horrible things that they're doing to their people? Why are you just picking on this tiny little country? And this guy, I think he was kind of shocked that, this little punk was going over to him. He just sort of smirked at me because they were all getting money. So I knew about the Black Lives Matter leadership 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, I knew about the leadership. That's why I would not feel comfortable marching in a march that was sponsored by that leadership, just like the Women's March. I mean, I had to teach anyway when they had the Women's March, but the 3 leaders there, the original, they were, Jew-hating tropes and this and that, and also, God forbid, I wasn't going to wear one of those ridiculous pink hats. I mean, that alone, people should have been jailed. But I digress. I do not feel safe in those environments. I even, did quite a few, marched in a few, supportive immigrants and this and that. And then again, you always got with one, old white dude, with his thing, Israel equals racism. It's like, you know what? Get the fuck out of my face. Really. This has been going on for years. So when I tell you folks, this is not new, but people get fed these tropes. Just like my son years ago was in high school, and this kid he was friends with comes over to him, he's Muslim, and my son had a lot of Muslim friends. This one kid, he was filled. He heard all this crap in his household. He asked my son, "Oh, it's Passover. You're eating matzah. Isn't that from the blood of Christian and Muslim babies?" And my son is like, "What? What are you talking about?" See, this is the shit we have to deal with. Just like when I was in college, I had to deal with, "Oh, where's your horns? Where's your tail? Where's your pitchfork? Aren't you the devil?" People hear this shit. So no, this is not new, but let's also get real here. Everyone is racist. You don't get a get out of jail free card because you're Jewish, Black, Asian, Muslim, Latin. Guess what? People have their biases. Let's be honest. Oh, Black people can't be racist. Yeah. tell that to my deceased brother-in-law who was black, who I would have these discussions with him, and he would be like, that is like the stupidest shit I ever heard. Of course we're racist. And Jews, I was fed a bunch of shit from my family growing up that, oh, Jews are not racist. No, I used to I got out in the world and I heard crap from Jews, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we weren't racist. I mean, geez. Thing is, we have to have dialogue, folks. The only way we're going to solve anything is if we talk to each other. You don't wish death upon this one and that one. You don't wish death. I don't care who's saying it. You got to have a talk. But let me tell you something. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you've gotten allies with some of my progressive members, my progressive brothers and sisters. Some of them are really fucking pissing me off. You all should go out to lunch because I'm tired of it, all right? I'm What the Shelley. I'll hopefully talk about something more funny next week. And remember, Memorial Day is about people who died in service. Do not post pictures of your father and your mother and your uncle and your brother who served and came back alive. That's Veterans Day. Get it straight. Bye. What the Shelley. Mwah. Peace.